show is called The Right People. So it's kind of a new thing we're going to try for a while here as we spend the next month changing into a new normal. We've been focusing a lot on our coffee, as we should, of course, right? We're a coffee roasting company. But one of the things that always comes up whenever I talk with folks, whenever I'm asked what makes our coffee special, I always come back to what I was actually taught by Jenya and others, is that it's our people. It truly is. And if you know our company, hello Eric, good to see you. You know that we come back to this idea of relationships. Now we've been spending a lot of time talking with Bob and talking with our farmer partner relationships in origin countries for our coffee. But now we're going to spend some time talking about some of the other relationships that exist within Batdorf and Bronson coffee roasters and Dancing Goats coffee bars. Those are the relationships that allow us to take all the hard work that is done by our coffee farmer partners, by all the folks in the coffee department, in roasting and production, and how do we then transform that into relationships outside of our company? And one of the key people who does that for us, of course, are the customer service team members, and they are very lucky to be graced with leadership from one Jenya Campbell, who I'll say hello to now, and welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hey, Josh.
Yeah.
I didn't see you there. Thank you. You inspire me. You make me feel really happy.
Yeah, wow.
Thank you so much. I love to be reminded about just how these connections that we can all have with people. Thank you for having me this morning. I'm really happy to be here in my house, but also with you.
Well, it's been 4 months now that we have both been working from home. And one of the things you and I talked about yesterday as we were talking about, today, was I kind of reflected on the fact that, gosh, for my function, which is outreach, we've been doing this. We've been having these shows and reaching out in that way because we haven't been able to visit our customers. But another portion of my job in sales it's always been kind of remote in a sense, right?
Mhm.
And so that's been a relatively easy transition for me to work from home. But your team, well, first of all, let's get everybody on board. What is it that your team does, and how has that been to be doing that from home?
Okay, let's see. Um, well, the team that my colleagues, the team that I get to work with every day, is our wholesale customer service team. Right now, there are four of us, including myself, um, which, as some of our customers might know, is a result of COVID. That we are short one person that we hope to be able to have back in the near future. But right now, we have two wonderful folks in Atlanta, Ariane and Chris, who take care of all of our Atlanta customers, and Sally here in Olympia, Washington, who takes wonderful care of our Washington customers. More or less, we all work together and with this, and myself. And right now, I'm the only one working from home, which I'm so grateful to my team for being there and being there for our customers and being there for each other. I'm very blessed. We're all very blessed to have folks that are willing to be at work and be safe and provide this great service. And I feel really blessed to be able to work from home safely with technology. It isn't ideal to be away from such great people, but I feel very blessed. Excuse me.
Yeah, I know so I have a desk in Olympia as well because you sit in Olympia. And, in my work, when I'm sitting at my desk, I'll be doing whatever I'm doing. And I will actually hear the customer service team talking to our wholesale customers. And I can literally hear you all sharing information with each other on a issue or a request that's coming in, and it's basically like you're tag teaming in real time because we share that space.
Right.
So that's different now. What have you been able to do to recognize that
Yeah.
difference?
See, okay. And that's definitely, if anybody who has been into certainly our Washington office, Atlanta's configured a little bit differently, but in Washington, it is absolutely the openest of offices, right? It's beautiful open space that it's mostly a great thing, right? Because I can overhear what's going on, and really makes us able to be more present for customers. So if a customer calls and says, "Hey, I was just talking to Sally about XYZ," I can say, "I know." And it allows our customers to know we really care about them. We're thinking about them. We're communicating about them. And so it's a super advantage that the only thing that kind of replaces that right now is technology. So we're using, like Skype messaging services. My phone is basically tethered to the work phone. So I see the calls coming in, I can jump on and help. And just trying to be as communicative as I can with my team to tell them how great they are and ask them how I might help them. And remoting, at home, I've got a home office. It's certainly not the same, but thank goodness for technology. It's really helped bridge the gap for sure. But we are so lucky in those offices to have that open concept space to be able to brainstorm, think aloud, talk aloud, and sometimes you're thinking out loud, and we can actually hear that happen in the office. I think you do that, Josh. I think sometimes are you talking to me? You're like, no, I'm talking to myself.
Actually, I usually just start whistling, and I don't realize that I'm whistling out loud, which can be annoying to everybody.
It can be.
As my wife has told me now that I work at home. It's really another testament, I think, too. When Krista says hello.
I love you.
Krista and Nikisha were on the other day. We had such a great time. It was good to see them. I'd never been able to visit the Atlanta stores, so it was nice to talk with their leader, to talk with Nikisha down there. And I do miss Krista. She's, we all work together so much, and we all have our job functions we do, but there is a lot of I don't want to say bleed over, but sideways support in everything we do. For example, Krista right now, and you have been helping take care of one of our wholesale customers for a thing that I would usually do that I can't literally do right now. And so it's just been great to know that I have team members who can support that part of taking care of our customers. But I learned it really from all of you. I come back to, right? It's that customer service focus that absolutely is at the center of what we're doing for all of our customers, whether they're in the retail environment or the wholesale environment.
Exactly. Yeah. That's right. It is the whole reason we do what we do, period, right? Is for that, is to provide something amazing to customers. And we want their experience with us to be like the experience you have hanging out with someone you really care about. We want, and that has been one really cool thing about working from home and talking to customers is, there's a lot that can be said for professionalism. In fact, I'll tell you, here's my little note. I don't know if you can see this. If it's backwards, it says, don't swear. Okay, hey, that's my little note for the day.
We're 7 minutes in, and you're doing great. We're 9 minutes in, almost 10 minutes in, and you're doing great.
Oh man. Okay, so, but professionalism is it's a spectrum, so to speak. We have some customers that are really down to earth. In fact, sometimes I feel I'm a little staunchy or a little too professional with some folks that are really just love to talk and love the casual nature, which, off the clock, we're all quite casual people. We all are down to earth with open minds. And what's fun about working from home and talking to people is I think some of my guard is down a little bit, not to the unprofessional level. I'm still got my don't swear note, but the relationships with our customers are tested in times like these, right? Can we really forget about everything that's going on in our minds and in the world? Not really forget about it, but set it aside so that we can have a real genuine engagement with people and let them know, hey, this is really hard for all of us, but the one thing we can do for you is get you this amazing coffee that you can drink and enjoy. It's gonna make people happy and feel good. We can still do this for you. We got you. So it feels more, I guess my long story short is that it feels like more of a friendship on some of these phone calls. I'm home, so I'm a little bit more casual, and it's just been really nice to kind of broaden that engagement with customers a little bit. It just feels a little more personal right now, I think, in general.
Yeah, that makes sense. And on this personal level, Cheyenne also is reaching out through the
hello,
comments
Cheyenne.
to say hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I feel like we're in the cafe.
Which I totally miss, right? I don't know if people know that, it's certainly more difficult in Atlanta than in Olympia. We have the wonderful gift of being able to walk to actually 3 of our locations when our tasting room is open. We've got the tasting room right there, the Dancing Goats, and the coffee house, which are all a hop, skip, and a jump from the roastery. And I do miss that team, and as you said, Josh, there's like this web of that we have to keep consistent between departments in order to give that full service, to our customers, right? Like Krista and I talk a lot about work. I love to meet with retail, and talk about how we can work together and make smarter choices together, in terms of purchasing like fun stuff for our, brewing equipment, things like that. We want to make smart decisions and we want to do it together. And the more connected that we are, the better we can be, the better face we can put forward as a whole, right? For sure. And I miss those retail folks. I miss that.
Yeah, I know one of the things I learned early on. It's my 6th year now, and I'm still kind of a new person at the company. But was just the importance of building relationships, right? Because in my function, I'm out and about a lot, and I'm often traveling in the car, driving. Our wholesale customers, you might be watching this later, probably recognize that. If you call me, you're probably going to get me while I'm in the car. But also really trying to spend as much time as possible with face-to-face relationships, just because it means something, right? And this has been a real test for all of us. Just like it has for everybody, in society, right? Is being separated, and I know that I've enjoyed coming back into some of my role. I got to go and visit a wholesale customer the other day because they're opening, right? And and it was different because we're all masked up and we're all attempting to keep distance from each other while we're working. But it was good to be back in that service orientation, right? To be able to be meeting with folks, and so that's going to be different. That's going to be new, right? As we kind of move back into coming back into I'm not saying that business is usual, right? Because it's not. It's just not. We don't know what the status is going to be in another month, but I just so things are changing for all of us. What's changing with your role as we look at the next kind of transition for the business? Are you going to be staying at home?
So the tentative plan, I still need to inform a few colleagues at work to make sure this is okay with the folks that have been doing their best to keep the building safe, because I haven't been in the building since March 11th or 10th. But the plan right now is that I will be in the office July 17th, which is right around the corner here, in preparation to cover my colleague Sally, who's going to take a little bit of time, which she so deserves. I can't even say how grateful I am for her in particular. I'm grateful for everybody, but she's on my mind all the time. The fact that she's there every day, I guess, there's a little bit of guilt, like I feel like, wow, I should really be there too. But she never makes me feel that way, right? She's just a blessing, and I just adore her. I adore everybody I get to work with. But so the 17th, I'm going to come in and hang out with her, I think a little bit. Our desks are, oh gosh, I don't know, 10 feet apart from each other. What would you say? Something like that? 8, 10 feet. So I think we'll be able to resume our normal candor there, our joking back and forth, and our our funny accents and things we like to make up and do. And we have a very fun work environment. There's singing and dancing sometimes, yoga, whatever. So that'll be really fun to get back and do that. And then the following week, I'll go in and see if I remember how to do it. Cover vacation.
And to that, I'll let you know that Sally just jumped into the comments to say hello, lovely coworkers, as did Chris.
Good. Well, yeah. I think she already knows how much I love her, so I'm.
And now Julie as well, Julie Mick-Stark from upstairs.
Oh, nice.
And then
hello, everyone.
I don't know if you know this person, Rubai Goldstein.
Rubai Goldstein?
Do you know a Rubai Goldstein?
I do know a Ruby Goldstein. I do know a Ruby. Hi, Mommy.
So she says hello as well. So I want to make sure.
Another person
out.
I love a lot, and I'm grateful for.
As we all do.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan. Going back to work in a couple weeks there, or a week. I don't even know. I don't know what day it is, to be completely honest with you. But so I'm both excited and nervous. I think I don't know if anybody else has shared in this who has worked from home, but I think I've developed a little bit of agoraphobia. The world is different out there, a little culture shock. Grocery stores are different. Everything is different. And so when you've been kind of hiding in the house, it only perpetuates the fear of going out, which I think is healthy right now. I think people need to be thinking a little bit more like, hey, let's you don't have to be phobic or to the point you can't leave the house, but you got to be thinking about, your safety and other people's safety. So I'm going to try to tame that back a little bit, get myself into the office. I look forward to the smells and the sounds, and um, yeah, it's time. It's time. So
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. I have my first event. As you might have known, I had a whole bunch of events scheduled for this summer, which all got canceled, and I've been doing this instead, which has been great, and I'm so grateful that people come and talk to me here. Um, and it's been fun, and it'll be something we probably hold on to moving forward, or at least in some ways. But I have my first event that's been rescheduled, that's set, coming up in August here. It's an outdoor event. It's a golf event for school, so that's great, right? Because we can go and do that and social distance and represent in the community. And I know for just a moment I thought, because I've been just kind of enculturated into this, like, don't be with people, don't be at events, don't be in gatherings, and had to really think through it from that, because I understand that little bit of guilt you talk about, right? Like,
yeah,
I'm very, very privileged to be able to work from home.
right.
And I'm also very, very lucky to work for a company that has really taken worker safety, our safety, as a paramount, right?
Oh, big time.
And
Big
then
time.
I had to balance that with that sense of solidarity with folks like Melissa and all the roasters and
Yeah.
Sally and then
Yep.
all the staff who have been keeping stores open, and think,
Yep.
well, they're all out there, and so I need, when it's possible, I need to be able to make myself available as well to the best of my ability, recognizing that I have to balance that with safety, of course. But I think we've done a really good job as an organization to balance that, and I'm grateful for that. So
Yeah, I mean, and what scale do we have to measure that by, right? Like, this is new. We haven't done this, so we think we're doing a
yeah,
really great job.
it's all new. I mean,
All new, but it does feel. I feel very well provided for, and like you said, like, how, man, are we so lucky, right? We are so lucky to have a company that is taking care of us and enabling us to do this. There are people out there that do not have this fortune, and so it is really hard to, again, not feel guilty, but it's also really hard to be upset with this situation when it could be so much worse,
yeah,
for at least someone like myself. I feel incredibly privileged, so
yeah.
it's hard to feel that, to be really super grateful, and not also feel a little guilt for that.
Yeah.
A lot
Well,
to
I
be
mean,
thinking
yeah,
about right now. A lot
there's
to
been
unpack.
huge costs for people, right? And
Yep.
it's always, part of what we do here is, of course, it's business, right? We're doing business here. We're reaching out to our customers, and there's an element of that which, of course, is about, yeah, we want them to know who we are and have a relationship with us, because, of course, they're our customers. They exchange money for what we do,
Right.
and we want to, not just give them great coffee, but also have them have insight into who we are as a company, which is part of what they're buying into.
Hmm.
Um, but even beyond that, and I've been trying to talk to this, and it's a hard position to discern. But I think for most of us, I'll just speak for myself. If I wanted to go make money and just sell things, I could make more money. There are
Right.
places I could go where I could make more money selling things.
Right.
And that, I think, for a lot of us who have settled into this business coffee, and then
Right.
specifically a company like Batdorf and Bronson, we've made some very specific choices about what we want to be doing with our life and our time. And
For sure.
it's about these relationships that we are able to build. Of
Oh
course,
yeah.
we have to run a business. That's, yes. But there's something else going on here. And for me, what's been the most kind of painful has been the coffee shops,
Hmm.
because I came up as a barista, like you did. Like,
Hmm.
a lot of people in our business come up starting in coffee shops, and to see them suffer so much at the beginning of this pandemic was like punch in the gut.
Hmm.
And I am just so grateful that we've been able to, at our organization, but also others, have been able to shift. And it's just been amazing watching the creativity in our industry, um, working hard, working their, and I'll swear, working their asses off to, I know, to be able to hold on
Don't
to
swear.
be able to hold on to our relationships with our customers and to create the space that the coffee house plays culturally in society, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's there too. And so it's been just an honor to work with everybody here, and I look forward to each day that we get to continue to learn how to give customer service and provide a great experience for everyone that we touch, whether it's in these spaces, these virtual spaces, or whether it's in our cafes, or whether it's on the phone with you, whether you're calling from home or from the office. Right?
Yeah, no, I amen to that. I totally am with you on that. Like, I think one of the things that you mentioned, several things there that I absolutely can agree with. And one of the things is when I worked out in production and we were bagging up coffee, which when you say it that way doesn't sound like much. But I always was grateful for my job, thinking, wow, I could be bagging up nuts and bolts or
Yeah.
parts to, plastic parts to some gizmo or whatever. And the coffee itself it's just magic, right? I mean, it's, you're put the smells, looking at the different kinds of beans. Like when I first got into this industry, thinking that they all looked the same, they all tasted the same, but there's so much to talk about with that. And just being able to be in the production department and look and smell and feel so sensorial. And I always would tell people, gosh, you could replace these beans with rubber bands and I would be miserable. But the coffee it's just something magic about it. So I totally agree with that. And then also props to you, because you mentioned, how we're there for our customers and how there's this, we have to modify, right? I want to give props to you and to Ben and to anybody who's given or made way or paved the way for these virtual interviews that you've been doing, these online experiences for people. I think that's so fantastic. When so much other stuff's been kind of pushed away, we can focus on projects like these. It's otherwise really complicated for us, right? There's not a lot of us, so we try to do a lot. And sometimes when you're trying to do a lot, you can't give it all. You're all right. So you got a lot of things that are okay, but what you're doing here is really fantastic. So I think it's certainly one of the brighter spots in kind of a dark time is that it's just great. It's so wonderful. So thank you so much for spending your time and converting your home to do that.
Laying all these bricks in my wall here. Yeah. Oh. I wanted to give it that coffee shop look, right? At Jennifer Dalmy, Jen Dalmy says hello from Atlanta.
Hey, Jen.
It's funny you mentioned it. You're right. Like, there's always a desire to make things better, and it's true. I would never have had time necessarily to focus on something like this as intensely as we've been able to, because as we know, just like with training for becoming a barista, you can do your training, but it's really the day after day after day work of making coffee and interacting with customers that gets you to perform at a higher level. Same thing here, like, if we just did this as a one-off thing we tried once, well,
Right.
it would have been fine. But being able to learn as we go has been, just invaluable, right?
Yeah.
And a shout out to Brendan right now if he's watching from Florida. He sourced this stream deck that I'm using right now, and you all probably can't notice, but I'm able to switch between scenes seamlessly now. And bring in music. And so I'm just learning, I'm just integrating it. But there you go, another case in point, right? Always taking little steps and working to try and make something a little bit better. Yeah, and looking for a little bit of a silver lining in this, right?
Right. Oh, yeah, always trying. And so hopefully we can carry some of this with us into whatever the new normal or the changing normals are going to be, right?
Yeah.
Maybe normal's not even the word anymore, but.
Well, yeah, I think being able to use technology to be able to talk and introduce our staff and our partners with a wider range of folks online who are our customers, as well as just having that just as a kind of a repository of information is great. But then also what's really been awesome is working with Bob to talk with partners in Origin, right? To bring those coffee partners forward has been really fun to be a part. I just kind of sit here and try and make sure it works, right? They're the ones who are having the conversation, and we just get to be a part of that relationship. For example, tomorrow, I'll just reference here as we get ready to close up, we're going to be visiting Swiss Water Decaf at this time
Mm.
tomorrow. So this is my challenge to all of you. Why bother? You know the why bother crowd, right?
Yep.
We know. Jenya knows.
Oh
I
yeah.
know. A lot of the folks watching now know why. But if you question our logic, join us tomorrow as we talk about the Swiss Water decaf process with our friends at Swiss Water up in Canada and Bob Bank. And we'll have a deeper conversation about both the process, but then also why it is we think decaf coffees should be celebrated. So, and I know
That's
I've
a
heard you
good
talk
topic.
about them, to customers, right? While
Hmm.
I've been sitting at my desk, right?
Oh
So,
yeah, we love those folks and what they do.
yep,
Chemical free.
yep.
So stay tuned for that tomorrow. They are wonderful. They absolutely. If you've not tried our decaf, you ought to do that because you might think we swapped it out and gave you the caffeine, the leaded version, which it's just that good. So
Yeah. Well, Jenya, thank you so much for joining me today.
thank you for having
It's
me.
been great to see so many folks from the company jump on to say hello to you.
Aw.
So you can take an opportunity to say goodbye to everybody here, um, and I'm sure they'll look forward to hearing your voice when they call in while Sally's on vacation. Now, I'm going to warn you,
Staycation.
staycation.
Nobody's really going on
Yeah,
vacations right now.
I'll let you know that Sally and I have developed an even closer relationship as she's been my go-to for so much. So yeah, deep respect for what she's been able to hold together on site for us.
Absolutely.
I mean, we forget, that it's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, right? Like if you remove any pin from this giant machine that's working, any cog that's working. I know cog is usually a negative connotation, but I like to think of it as we're all gears working together, right? Remove any
Hmm.
one gear and things would not function. And we've unfortunately had to experience a little bit of that with
Yeah.
some loss, but
Yep.
I'm grateful for everyone who is stayed on and has been such amazing partners as we move into the next phase of this. And you know, Sally on site, and soon you on site as well. So
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
let's not forget Chris and Ariane as well, who are
Absolutely.
also our left and right hands. We definitely really need each other. So
Yeah.
and to anybody, any of our wholesale customers watching, we adore you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for choosing us as your coffee roaster. Thank you for supporting the farmers that you've been able to meet on these videos. Thank you um, for that partnership. It's incredibly important. It's why we're all doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
So thanks for having me, Josh.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to. I'm coming down every once in a while. I know we have a couple of new restaurants that are opening that I'm gonna work on supporting. So, by for sure, if I'm going to be in Olympia, I'll make sure to shoot your text and we can wave at each other from the window,
Yes,
or
that's great.
talk from 6 feet away.
Is your golf thing at the course I live on, or is it somewhere else?
What's that?
The golf, the
Uh,
golf thing,
Actually, let
different.
me check here. Let me see which course it's at. 1 second.
'Cause
So this
maybe you'll be.
is our St. Martin's course, which I believe it's probably at Olympia. Yeah, Olympia Country and Golf Club.
Okay.
So
So it's not where I live, but
not where you live.
we'll be seeing each other.
Yeah.
And I made it 30 minutes without one swear word.
Damn.
Anybody who knows me knows what kind of accomplishment that is.
Hey, we keep it real here, right? Keep it real within reason.
That's right.
So people are saying goodbye to you,
Goodbye.
and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye,
I
Jenya.
look forward to seeing you soon too. See you later.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So, folks, thank you so much for tuning in today. This is that part, and Jenya's still watching me here, but I'll end the meeting so she doesn't so she doesn't have to see me do the crass sales work that I have to do now. um, so yes, thank you. Everything that she said, is just so absolutely true. And for sure, if you need coffee, please, we'd be honored if you were to choose some coffee for your weekend. It would be a perfect time to order it today. Actually, it would roast tomorrow and be in the mail to you for the weekend. And oh, how these weekends seem to be disappearing. Even though some of us don't know what school's going to look like for those of us who have school-age kids, the summer is still the summer, and boy oh boy has camping exploded as a way to spend the summer. we usually camp every year, but Boy, this year it's rough out there. So you better go make your reservations now, and make sure that you have some coffee on the go. I think I'll just want to do a little brainstorming with you while I have you here. I think we're going to try to do some ice cream next week, some coffee ice cream. All right, just because it came up yesterday and it seemed like fun. So send along any recommendations you have for the type of coffee you'd like me to use, and I will order that. Um, and then also, I think the idea of really talking about camping and coffee might be a good focus for a couple of shows. So I'll talk with Ben and Brendan about that and see if we can't do maybe a little camping focus as we enter into July here and the camping season takes off. And tomorrow, please do tune in for our conversation about our decaf coffees and with Bob Bank speaking directly with our friends at Swiss Water Decaffeination. It will be a great conversation, and I look forward to having you join us there just as we learn to continue turning our homes into cafes. Take care.